to say anything critical of Chinese politics.
This is Buddhist Books Podcast, episode 197. This is a special episode because I'm going to be reacting and reviewing, as they say on YouTube, to the movie Kundun. So a little bit of background. For those who don't know, I think most of the people watching these videos are in northeastern India and Bhutan, as well as Nepal. So hello, everybody over there. Maybe there's one or two Americans watching, I don't know. But for those who don't know, in mainstream American Hollywood movies and TV shows, there used to be a lot of Tibetan Buddhism.
I am first going to tell you a little bit about the country called Tibet. The first Tibetan king to be touched by the Dharma was King Hathatha Rignan Butsan. He and succeeding kings were collectively known as the Happy Generations.
References to Tibet, stories that take place revolving around Tibetan Buddhism. The Golden Child was one of my favorites as a kid. There was the beginning of Ace Ventura 2, for instance, where he's in a Tibetan monastery. The Shadow went up to a Tibetan monastery to gain, the wisdom that allowed him to harness his dark side and become the Shadow. It's a comic book. Up until 1997, I believe 7 Years in Tibet with Brad Pitt came out that year, as well as Kundun, which is a name given to the Dalai Lama, His Holiness. You've probably heard of him. You might also have heard of the director Martin Scorsese. He's famous for movies like The Goodfellas. Honestly, I've never seen that. Taxi Driver, I have seen that. And a number of other movies. The Silence was one of his more recent ones about the Jesuits going to Japan. And The Irishman, I think. Didn't see that one. Anyway, he's famous. He's one of the top 5 famous directors. And he, in 1997, or leading up to the release of this movie in 1997, he met with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. If you're watching this on the video version, you saw a clip with him and His Holiness together. And, worked out the details of this movie, and it's meant to be a biopic of the early life of the Dalai Lama, starting with him being discovered. He was in a village, a 3-year-old, I believe, or 4, and they found him through various means, and up until his exile. So these are all historical events, so there isn't really anything I can spoil. I saw this probably in the theater with my mom, if I'm not mistaken, when it came out in 1997. And then something happened. Disney was the parent company of the studio making this film, if I recall correctly. And they were in the middle of working out a deal with the Chinese government to build a Disneyland in Shanghai, which of course means lots and lots of money for Disney, right? And basically, the president at the time of the Chinese Communist Party was outraged by Kundun accurately reflecting historical events, contrary to the Chinese propaganda in which the Tibetans were oh so happy when the People's Liberation, when the Chinese army came in the 40s or early 50s, and they were so happy to be reunited with China, who had ruled them since ancient times. Something like that is like the basic party line that the Chinese government feeds to its people. So obviously Kundun didn't reflect that. It told something probably a lot closer to the actual story of what happened. So China wasn't having that. They said, you know what, Disney? You can take your Disneyland Shanghai and shove it where the sun doesn't shine, or words to that effect. That's not an exact quote. But here's something that is an exact quote, was the CEO of Disney at the time apologizing and saying that Kundun was a stupid mistake. And they promised that they would bury it. It would get no distribution. You would not be able to find it anywhere. And to this day, 26 years later, you will not find Kundun on Disney Plus or Netflix or Amazon. I mean, you can find DVD and Blu-ray for like 40, 50 bucks. It can be mailed to you if you still have one of those antique DVD or Blu-ray players. But yeah, you can't stream it anywhere. It used to be available on YouTube. And so when I first thought of doing this, making this video, I was thinking, I can easily show the whole movie and just have me in the corner and it'll be no problem. But it's been removed even from YouTube. Disney/China does not want anyone ever to see this movie, except for people who have Blu-ray, but that's like 1% of 1% of the human population or less. So, yeah, as a result, I'm going to... Oh, and of course, they've never mentioned Tibet or Tibetan Buddhism or Dalai Lama in any mainstream movie or TV show since Kundun. So this movie marked the end of an era in Hollywood in which Tibetan Buddhism exists, and the beginning of the era of let's not make anything that China doesn't like, which of course has taken many forms since then and is completely and utterly taken for granted. One fun example is how in Doctor Strange, the comic book, he goes to Kathmandu and meets with a Tibetan master called
the Ancient One.
And when they made the movie version, they had him go to Kathmandu and meet with a bald white lady. Don't want to make any reference to the existence of Tibet or anything. So Disney, you're on the wrong side of history. Fix it. Tibet is a thing. It exists. You should depict it from time to time in your movies. That's my opinion, and that's the end of my editorial about that. So we're going to set all that aside and just enjoy a sincerely made, beautiful Martin Scorsese, Dalai Lama biopic. So I'm going to have to do this thing where it's a little bit transparent on the background. I mean, I'm going to try to do little tricks, those tricks that reaction channels do here and there to avoid the copyright infringement. The sons of Genghis Khan gave the Dalai Lama his name. It means ocean of wisdom. In a war-torn Asia, Tibetans have practiced non-violence for over 1,000 years. The Dalai Lama is their ruler. He is the human manifestation of the Buddha of compassion. In 1933, the 13th Dalai Lama died. 4 years later, a holy man, disguised as a servant, found himself in a far corner of Tibet. He was searching for the 14th Dalai Lama. His search was almost at an end. A Buddha had been reborn. By the way, if you have one of those illicit
Help me.
Again?
Ways of getting movies, you can search for this and find it.
Some of our animals had died.
How?
The mother's voice and her face, that actress is the niece of the real-life Dalai Lama. That's the Dalai Lama's niece in real life.
Me.
No.
Me.
No, this must stop.
He wants to sit at the head of the table. Past life memories, perhaps?
Oh, what's the harm? Let him sit where he wants.
You'll grow up all wrong.
There were crows. I just remembered. There were crows. A pair of crows had come to nest on our roof.
Just as they did for the Dalai Lama.
What kind of bug is that? Eesh. Oh, they were stuck. I'm always worried that'll happen to me when I wear sunglasses, that I'll get tan everywhere except for right there. Compassion. Okay, so here comes the Lama who's tasked with finding the reincarnation of the Dalai Lama. He recognizes him. Tiger's eye. I think I have one. Somewhere.
This is mine.
Correct. Here's the test.
You say this is yours? What else belongs to you?
Yeah, I know them by sound too.
Yes, those are yours. Kundun.
That's the name of the movie. Dad doesn't approve.
You must be a very high Lama.
Who said you could sit here?
What's this now?
He has grown from the baby you sent me to find, Excellency.
What?
The baby was alive. He was guarded by a pair of black crows. I saw you in a vision. I am dreading your regent.
The 14th Dalai Lama.
His brother. His older brother has to bow to him, and he's very happy about it.
I am Pala, your Lord Chamberlain. Fifth Dalai Lama. Seventh Dalai Lama. 13th Dalai Lama. When you come of age, you will hold the Great Seal.
He wants to hold it now.
I'm on a big mountain hitting a man.
I am brave. I have all the men. Things change, Kundun.
How much more land and money do we have to give him for finding the boy? Then there are the gifts and the estates to offer the Dalai Lama's family.
Look at father. I don't like it here.
But you will like the summer palace better.
Elephants?
No.
Oh, this must be their summer palace?
Holiness, will you take the head of the table?
That's your place.
Now that he has his own palace, he doesn't have to sit at the head of his father's table.
The oracle has told me. my life will be cut short.
Another regent will be chosen.
I want you to be my new regent.
He's not allowed to hear the whole truth, but he has ultimate authority. Okay. Now he'll say it. I think it's meant to show things from his perspective.
The gifts from the West. Is the
I don't want you to go.
His brother, I think.
You learned nothing. The red ideology. Danger from within and without. Heed the warning of your predecessor.
Letter? Is that what he said? Yeah, we have a letter.
The 13th Dalai Lama wrote this letter.
Okay.
And then the Chinese invaded.
Our prayers were soon answered. We routed the Chinese out. The monasteries will be looted and destroyed. We will become like slaves to our conquerors. Like beggars.
What can I do? I'm only a boy.
You are the man who wrote this letter.
No pressure.
Oh, ignorant one, do not fall asleep now. What happened to Redding?
There was an attempt on Thakra Rinpoche's life.
The monks have guns? I didn't know monks had guns.
There's a movie just came out in Bhutan, A Monk and a Gun.
There's a prison in the Potala? I think there's some things we need to change here in Tibet.
The Chinese are once again trying to convince the world now they are trying to rewrite history.
Can India help us? They know we are not a part of China.
Mao Zedong has presented Tibet with 3 demands.
If you agree to the first point, that Tibet is part of China, and nothing else will matter. I would reject all 3 points.
Holiness.
Yes?
The Chinese have invaded.
This week began the peaceful liberation of Tibet.
Tibet will call on the West for help. I'm making you my prime ministers. Free the prisoners. They fight with almost nothing. No one can stop them, not even me.
They fight for you, Holiness.
Non-violence takes a long time. Let's do away with some of these formalities. It's enough now.
It appears they've brought you an elephant.
An elephant? How fortunate.
Returning Tibet to the motherland, the Dalai Lama's representatives have signed.
May I present General Chang Chin-Wu.
Chairman Mao asked me to convey his respect.
I thought he would be some kind of monster. But he's only a man.
We were like you. We were an isolated country. We craved opium. They tried to use it to destroy us. We are here to rescue you from imperialists, or they'll do the same to you.
He was going to cook it. Like in China before Chairman Mao.
Friends, who is the fifth Dalai Lama now? Things change.
They have burned homes, bullied people like they did me. The Chinese believe I've agreed to kill you.
My own brother will kill me? They believe that?
I hate meeting up here. This place is a tribute to the past.
We have no authority to ban singing in our country.
There will be no new prime ministers.
All of those governments have refused to meet with our representatives.
Of the People's Liberation Army's march into Tibet. And demanded their return to the motherland. We welcome you, Tibet, back to the motherland. Tibet is a great land, a wonderful history. Have a great respect for your Lord Buddha. He was anti-caste.
It's true.
I think socialism and Buddhism have some things in common. He has made important promises. I agree with some of your ideas.
You need to learn this. Religion is poison. The opiate of the people. Let me walk you to your car.
I have always asked for just plain information.
Nuns and monks are made to fornicate in the streets. And force the child to kill the parent. Your resistance must come from outside Tibet, Kundun.
We will be moving Chinese families into Tibet territory. We have decided that the Tibetan army must be used against the Khampa guerrillas.
You have bombed on peaceful people.
We are here to liberate you.
No. Buddha is our physician, General Tan. You cannot liberate me, General Tan. I can only liberate myself.
The Dalai Lama and a few trusted officers can stay within the inner wall.
They're going to bomb us.
Apparently. The Chinese have taken the strictest measure to prevent your escape. Go. Tonight.
I'll go to war.
The Dalai Lama does not believe in war. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions. Beseech all the Buddhas who wish to pass away to please remain. Beings are released through the teachings of the truth.
You must walk to India.
With all respect, sir.
A simple monk. I am a reflection, like the moon on water.
This must be Dharamshala. Or meant to be Dharamshala. The Dalai Lama has not yet returned to Tibet. He hopes to one day make the journey. That was true in 1997, and it's still true in 2023. Well, thank you, Martin Scorsese. No need to watch all the credits. Thank you, Melissa Matheson. Yes, all of that. All right. Well, that was it. That was the movie, Kundun. Every once in a while we do these movie reactions. We did one a while ago for Shanzan, the monk who came in the 600s or the 6th century from China to India and brought back the Mahayana scriptures. Back when China was cool. My dad was born there, and his longtime listeners will know all that stuff. My grandpa used to have to hide from the communists before they took over because he was on the imperialist side of things. So I don't know if proud is the right word, but I don't know. It does my heart good to know that I'm here in the same country as the Dalai Lama, where he's been safe and protected since the day depicted in this movie, and may he live for many years to come. All right, well, I don't really have much more to say. I know regular movie reactions, you're supposed to comment through the whole thing, and YouTube will even scrutinize whether you commented enough to be considered a movie reaction and all this kind of thing. But I really just wanted you to see the movie as much as possible. The actual movie's 2 hours long, so this is obviously cut down quite a bit and made a little bit transparent so that you could see the bookshelf through the... Anyway. All right. I also hope to one day go to Tibet. I hope that I haven't burned all possible bridges to go there. Like my name will come up with a little flag next to it if I go back into China's territory. But I did go to see where my dad was born, Shanghai, and where my grandpa worked for, 20 years or however long he was there. But yeah, one day, maybe one day. But, it feels like gold in my heart to go to places like Sikkim and Darjeeling and even, places where there's Tibetan temples here in India, all over the world really, but especially all over India. North, south, east, west. So anyway, I don't know what else to say other than just to sit here and ramble on. So I will go ahead and see, got the Darjeeling flags here. I will wish you the best. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe if you liked it. And next time, episode 198 of Buddhist Books Podcast, we'll get back to our regularly scheduled Tipitaka recitals of pre-sectarian early Buddhism. I will go ahead and close with my usual prayer. I mean, it's not my prayer, but it's the prayer my father taught me. To the north and to the south, to the east and to the west, to the spirits of light among us, and to the spirits below, we send out our reverent love and compassion. May all beings be happy. May all beings be serene. May all beings be in peace. Until next time.
course, it goes without saying that I would like to visit Tibet. I wish they could get their country back and the Dalai Lama could return. Oh, I would like that very much.